Welcome to the Museum Roadshow. Today we're up at the north end of Washington Avenue where Ike Thomas had the grocery store right there by the Washington School where many of the kids used to run across the street to get their penny candy. Thomas Grocery was a landmark in that part of town for over 75 years. It stayed in the same family and it was a very unique little store. And Ike's got a good story in his memory folder of how you used to open the door of the little corner grocery store and the screen door would slam behind you and the bell would jingle, and that was the typical hometown grocery store.
My father, he was on his way to a dance. How he got started, he was on his way to a dance and he stopped in to buy a pack of cigarettes from his cousin. And the $50 she wanted for the stores, for the inventory and all, so he never got to the dance. He stayed there and took care of his grocery store, and he was tied down for many, many years after that with sole proprietor, and he did get married shortly after, a few months later, so my mother helped him a lot in the store. They had a little store up there where the trophy house is now, on the north side, and the gas pump out in front. Used to be Mickelberg's. That house that they had for a store at that time is 2 blocks on 34 east there. Larry Peterson's living in it now. Of course, they added on to the house, but the main building, that was the store. They moved it over there. Right across from the Baptist church there. It's on the corner of 34 and Curry, I think it is. And then in 32, he built the store down at 222 Washington Avenue, where we are now. Well, early during the Depression, see, he built it during the Depression. Charlie Scalene, he built it. He said he built it like a barn. Well, and it's still standing firm and strong and all balanced up. I mean, it's you can hold a level up there and it's right on. Yeah. And it was nice, you know. We could always go down and get what we needed out of the store, so we didn't have to go grocery shopping. My mother, just like my wife now, she just, when we plan on a meal, she just goes down and gets what she needs. Now she sends me grocery shopping, see. Well, we were raised right there. You see, my mother, the store part was in the front, and then right in the back room, that was our kitchen, living room, and dining room, all right behind the store part. So my dad, he loved to visit a lot, and a lot of them will attest to that. And my mother, when she'd look out there a lot, and if he was gone, she'd have to come out and take over. And I get a kick out of some of the salesmen. They said he'd follow them right out to the truck and put his foot on the truck so they couldn't pull away. Put on the first step, you know. Yeah. He put in 31 years there, raised a family of 5. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Of course, we all had our little turn in the store, but I was the main helper when I was in high school. And when he retired in 63, I was working for National Biscuit Company, and I resigned my job there and took over the store. I figured if he raised his family, I could raise mine there. And it was good to us all. The people were real good to us, and so we're really thankful. You know, we had a good supply, a good line of groceries. We had everything that you could use, everything you really needed. And I remember back in the early days, you know, when farmers used to come in with their eggs and stuff and trade for groceries. And berries and things like that they picked, you know, and of course the eggs, my dad would cannel them and put them on the shelf. And it was tough times back then. He said a lot of things, you know, it was just, like the store too, it was tough. Everybody had it tough during the Depression, yeah. He had some great memories of that, yeah. Well, penny candy, the children liked the penny candy because we supplied a good supply of it there, but, well, toward the end now, it was mostly those fruities, 1-cent fruities. You can still buy them in the store over there at Central Market, but all different kinds. I took every kind of penny candy the jobber had, I stocked. So I had the kind of counter, I had them lined up in bags. I just opened the bag and they'd come back and help themselves. I told them to put them on the counter there. When I was waiting on another customer, I'd let them do their own, and I told them to put them in groups of 5s so I could count 5 a lot faster than. Then when I got around to it, I'd add theirs up, and away they'd go. But I had everything, and it was like that, small candies for the children, you know. And then a big business there. Of course, the school was right across the road, Washington School. And in the morning when I first came there, you know, after my dad retired, he had quite a following. They'd be lining up way outside the door and everything, waiting for me to open up. And then they'd come in and they'd go way around the counters and stuff, you know, a small store. So sometimes I never got them waited on before the bell rang and had to leave. Yeah. After the war, World War II, there was 22 small neighborhood stores in Detroit Lakes, counting the larger ones, but they're nothing as large as they have now, of course. The Red Owl and Hart's and Norby's, Blandings, and I have a list of them there. And of course, everybody come back, a lot of the veterans come back, and they started these little stores right in their living rooms, you know, in the neighborhoods. That's what they call neighborhood stores. Yeah, but we had a good location right on Washington Avenue, and well, at one time, 59 and 34 came right down Washington Avenue. And that was real good for business, too. And then they made the Roosevelt Avenue, the crossing there, and then they put the overpass on 59, and that took a little business away. People didn't have to come by the store, they didn't go home, go north. Of course, the big stores got bigger, and what really hurt the store is when they used to close at 6 o'clock, the stores uptown. And closed on Sundays. And when they started opening later than 6, we used to stay open till 9, from 8 till 9, sometimes later. And then when they started opening up later too, well, that took a lot of the business away, see. And then they started opening on Sundays. Well, that was one of our best days, Sunday forenoons, and so that spoiled it too, yeah. So then I started closing on Sunday. I said, well, that's the Lord's Day. I'll need a day off too, so we'll close all day then, which we did. And it was good. At 62, I did retire then. And I was thankful for, you know, all the business I got. But it was slowing down then. The big stores were moving in. I couldn't blame my customers for walking by with their groceries, you know, because I couldn't compete with them stores uptown. I could go uptown to County Market and some of them, and which I did. I'd go down there once a week and buy groceries cheaper from them than I could buy it from my supplier, certain items. So what was I to do? I had to do what I had to do. I closed in the end of '94. So I said at the beginning of '95, really, yeah. New Year's Day, that was it.
Thanks for watching this Museum Roadshow. I'm Roger Engstrom, signing off till next time. Remember, on TV3, history repeats itself every 4 hours.